Welcome to MC Bali channel with me, Nirmala Trisna. From my home in Bali, I'm sending you best wishes. Hopefully you are all safe and healthy. But if you are now in the not very healthy condition, if you are sick, I'm hoping you have speedy recovery. While we are all being quarantined, I'm going to talk about public speaking. So when it's time to go out there, we are all better prepared. I will share how to deal with the nervousness of speaking in front of the public, how to embrace the beauty of speaking in front of people, and also some tips how to make your next speech more effective. Are you ready? Nervous? That's normal. It's very humane to feel nervous when you are asked to be speaking in front of the people. A lot of people, that's very normal. Butterflies in our stomachs, sweaty palms, they're all signs of you feeling nervous. It's the sign that our body reacts to that speaking assignment. Instead of running away, ask yourself that question. What makes you nervous? And then you know the answer. Handle that problem properly. Are you afraid that you will forget your speech? Are you afraid that you will be speaking in front of top management or a very high caliber audience? Then prepare ourselves very well. Prepare notes, study or learn more about the topics. Prepare the cue sheet, cheat sheet, or whatever little notes that you need to guide you through that speaking session. Are we afraid that people will stare and judge us? Well, we must learn who our audience is, what are their preferences, what they like and dislike. Learn about things in common that they have with the event, with ourselves, why they are there, why they are being selected as the audience. By knowing all those things, we can prepare our speech content more effectively and more connected with the audience. The key point is getting connected with the audience. Remember that we are speaking for them, in front of them. So by knowing them properly, we can adjust what to say and how to say to them. Still feeling nervous? Again, that's normal. Even until now, even after I have been doing emceeing since like 1994 or 1995, I still feel nervous before I'm going on the stage. So just embrace that. It means that you are not a robot, you are still a human. It is a sign that we want to perform our best and we have to prepare ourselves accordingly. That feeling makes us more alert and more prepared. Practice regularly, tidy up our notes, record our performance, maybe get your best friend or your spouse or your partner to give their honest opinion so we can be a better speaker, and that will lead us to a more prepared session. What to say? Like a building, our speech must have a purpose and a structure. Otherwise, we'll be babbling and trembling all over the places. First, we must know the purpose of our speech. Why we are invited as a speaker. Are we here to persuade people? Are we here to entertain them? So know exactly our purpose as a speaker, then we are not missing that key point as the main objective for our speech. These three different purposes will shape our content, will shape how we say our messages to the audience. Next, create the structure, starting from the topic, subtopic, general purpose, specific purpose, some samples, and our main points. Give example in the most concise way. Imagine ourselves as the audience. We don't want to hear long explanation without points. So make it concise, make it interesting. Either through stories, our body language, expressions, gestures, our vocal expression, image, exhibit, or even you can bring something on the stage to enhance our main points. Use of tools. First tool that we must embrace is microphone. To some people, even holding the microphone makes them really nervous. So make sure we are holding the microphone right. Make sure the microphone is under our chin, not too close, not too far. And if we are moving our head or our body, if it's in the podium, make sure our mouth is not too far from the microphone. That often happens during events. For the speaker, they are too excited to move their heads here and there, even like moving their body back. He didn't realize or she didn't realize that the audience cannot hear them properly. Make sure the microphone is turned on before we speak. Simple way to test it, like making a tick tick sound, you can make it as part of your speech. First rule of public speaking is testing the microphone to make sure it's on. Check, check, something like that. Other tool is cue card or cheat sheet. Make sure it's not too big, like A5 size card. And don't put all of our talking points in that cue card. Just make as bullet points. You don't have to copy the Word document and then put them all in the cheat sheet. Same case for presentation slides. Don't put all of the Word documents and put them all in the PowerPoint slides. People will be lost in text. They will read that presentation on the big TV or big screen. One important fact about human brain, people tend to remember visual images, numbers, rather than speech, blah, 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 speaking like if you are explaining about facts. Make an image with big numbers or big visual, and that will create more effect to the audience. For instance, if you want to give an example about single-use plastic, don't just put research results on the slide. It is better to put photo or infographics. Human brain naturally search for patterns and also alignments. Engage with our audience. Don't read our speech from the cue card or from our cheat sheet. We will lose our connection with the audience unless it's a very highly official event. If you are a minister or a president, in certain part of our speech, we can also interact with the audience. For instance, asking a yes/no question to the audience, or asking a rhetorical question to audience where we want them to give like an approval nod or shaking their heads, or maybe like giving a what-if question. So in that way, we are enticing them to think and imagine a solution for the problem. Listen. A good speaker must be a good listener too. So when we are on stage, we must constantly listen to our audience, not just listen hearing what they say or how they react, but also by listening to the feedback from our audience. See if there's a boring face, yawning, how they sit, or if there are too many people leaving the room. If we ignore the feedback from our audience, then our speech will not be effective. We cannot connect with the audience. We cannot convey our messages properly to them. So in that way, we can adjust what and how we say our messages to the audience. One interesting fact is that speakers usually ignore a timer, a big clock on the stage because they put too much attention to themselves, to the content, to what they have to say in those 30 minutes of time, and they ignore the timer or the sign from the committee saying 5 more minutes, finish. We also have to listen to what's happening around the stage. We don't want to be known as the speaker who have dragged the time and overrun the whole agenda. No, we don't want to be that speaker. Be honest. Larry King, I'm sure you know who he is, in his 1994 book titled How to Speak to Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere, reminded us that we must be honest as a speaker and not covering our personality. Don't try to be someone else. An interesting story, and I remember that all the time since the very first time I read that book in the late 90s, when he was assigned on his very first radio show, he got a mic fright. He couldn't speak a bit when the microphone was on and he was on air. He had to like fade out the music and then couldn't speak, fade it in again, fade out, couldn't speak again. I think it happened 3 times. Even though he has prepared and practiced and was really sure that he was ready, but still he got that fear or feeling nervous when the time is really on. And then his key was being honest. He was like saying when the mic was open, he truly said, "This is my first radio show. I don't know what to say, even though I have practiced and I was very sure that I'm ready, but still it happened." And then from there, his speech went on and on and on and on. So the key was just be honest. If you're nervous, just say, "I'm very nervous. This is my very first time speaking in front of people." And then from there, you can get the sympathy from the audience. You can see their eyes was like, "Oh, yeah, I would be like that too if I'm in your position." People will feel that we all the same. Do I need to be funny? Not everyone is a comedian. I'm certainly not. But a personal touch, personal story, related anecdote to the topic that you are going to say can create an honesty or rapport with you and the audience. People will smile or share the same emotion as yours. It will help a lot to melt down that ice when you are feeling very nervous and cold on stage. Be relatable with the audience's problem. That's how we can also create connection with the audience. If we know they are teenagers, if we know they are youngsters, we can say certain stories that can make them smile. We know they will not want to hear very serious stuff. If we know our audience are professors or CEOs, make a smart joke. Don't make a cheesy one that will degrade yourself in front of them. Even Ellen DeGeneres, when she wanted to go on stage again for stand-up after 15 years off, her stage show was titled Relatable because she wanted to be related with the updated situation, and that's how she can entice her lovely audience. Speak clearly and lively. In order to convey our messages to our audience effectively, we need to say the words clearly and lively through different way of vocal expression. Speak with the right volume, pronounce the word correctly, hold the microphone firmly, use different vocal expression to highlight a certain message, and play with all of that. Before the speaking schedule, as part of our practice, we can record our audio and listen if we sound nonsense, and we can fix it from there. Online resources that I've read suggested that How we say things to our audience is more important than what we say to them. Effective presentation are 38% voice, 55% non-verbal stuff, and only 7% content. I will give you an example. It is a quote from Albert Einstein about life. First one, there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Let's play with our vocal expression. Pitch, pace, dynamics, even volume. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I hope you can see the difference. How do I look? As I mentioned earlier about effective communication is heavily built on non-verbal communication. So yes, it means how we look matters, how we dress matters, how we sound matters. How we present ourselves speaks 1,000 words to our audience. Check the dress code for the event. Make sure our hair and makeup are proper. Know where the venue is. Don't be late. Before our stage time, take your time to relax. Be by yourself. And then speak to the committee. If there's a rehearsal time, take that time to check the AV. Make sure everything works well. You know how big the stage is, how small the stage is, if there's a timer, a confidence monitor, a podium, everything. Memorable start and ending. As an audience, of course we often be an audience, we tend to remember a speaker from the great opening or great closing, or both. It doesn't mean we should ignore the content or our main presentation, but try to make ourselves as a memorable speaker from the very first minute of our time on stage. Skip the usual greeting. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nirmala Trisna, and I'm going to present a topic about financial management for the family. That's very standard. And then let's start the slide. We can try to tell a certain story or interesting facts, statistics that are related to our audience. My example will be, I see ministers with us here in the audience, Minister of Finance, ladies, women, wives. Yes, you are the ministers of finance in the family. Kind of the toughest job in the universe. Managing the resources for our beloved family. My name is Nirmala Trisna, and for the next half an hour, I will share my tips and tricks to be a better Minister of Finance for our family. And for closing, try to conclude our presentation in a simple yet strong message. Money is not everything. Yes, we all agree, but everything needs money, and we have to be smart to manage the money really good so we can enjoy life. That's all tips and reminder how to make our next public speaking session more effective. And of course, there are many tips out there from different people based on their different experiences. And well, yeah, this is from me, based on my experience, based on my readings, my background. Manage your feeling of nervous. Prepare well, and remember that public speaking consists of 55% non-verbal stuff, 38% voice, and only 7% content. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to share this video to your friend, your family, your partner, your spouse, your child maybe. Let me know if you have any question. Just write in the comment section and I will try to reply at the soonest. To keep updated with my contents, don't forget to subscribe to MC Bali channel. Thanks and stay safe.